life. Music is spirit.
It is becoming worse day by day, and while it is saddening, we will keep exposing it. It may look like a harmless blunder, maybe from a naive point of view, but it is not, because first, you believed to a certain point in the opinion of someone or a folk and in their ability to communicate effectively, as well as communicating reasonably to a certain level, before you allowed them have a discussion in your studio. Second, the video wasn't live video, so I believe the creator watched, rewatched, and even edited some parts before posting. So, the question is, why allow this?
Charlie, you know, say the World Cup they come up. Even though Nigeria not qualified, Nigerians are the ones composing the song for the World Cup. And it's quite surprising how these Nigerians constantly keep getting these opportunities. And it's quite surprising how these Nigerians constantly keep getting these opportunities. And it's quite surprising how these Nigerians constantly keep getting these opportunities. And it's quite surprising how these Nigerians constantly keep getting these opportunities. I mean, Burna Boy and Shakira, we all know Shakira, one of the biggest songstress in the whole of the world. This Latin side, Charlie the Control. A couple of years back, he released a World Cup song, which became a global hit. She's back again, and this time around with African giant Burna Boy. They released a song for the World Cup where they call him Die Die. The song is beautiful, bro. You could tell say this song, they worked on it, they took their time, the production, the arrangement, the music video. Two giants were on the song. She's back again, and this time around with African giant Burna Boy. They released a song for the World Cup where they call him Die Die. The song is beautiful, bro. The song is beautiful, bro. The song is beautiful, bro. The song is beautiful, bro.
What made you think that their song is beautiful?
You could tell say this song, they worked on it, they took their time, the production, the arrangement, the music video.
Please say it again.
You could tell say this song, they worked on it, they took their time, the production, the arrangement, the music video. Two giants were on the song. Now somebody go talk say, how can an artist whose country didn't qualify for the World Cup being a part of the people who composed the song?
Wham! When I don't hear them, Ghana.
Why Ghanaian artists don't get these kind of opportunities when it comes to world things that can take over the whole world? Why things like this they happen?
Firstly, I'm very disappointed in the FIFA.
Please, can you tell the world why you are disappointed in FIFA?
Yeah, I'm very disappointed because why should they choose a Nigerian musician?
Why shouldn't they choose a Nigerian musician?
Because Nigeria is not in the World Cup this year.
It doesn't matter if the talent is better. Why?
It matters. It matters because we have great musicians in Ghana. Whilst Ghana has qualified for the World Cup, at least they should choose a Ghanaian musician.
What if every artist from all these other African countries or other countries that qualify the World Cup, they say, okay, choose somebody in our country. So what are you going to say about that?
No, because there are two musicians on the song. Shakira is from Colombia. Colombia is in the World Cup. So they have to, if they are choosing another musician, that musician must be of a country that's qualified. So it could be Ghana because we are in there.
Is it to generate traffic because you knew it would drive a lot of people, especially Nigerians and non-Nigerians? Or is it to communicate your naivety on social media? Because it has become a trend that so many of you will push certain topics and statements that will pull the trigger just to attract a lot of people and generate traffic to your channel, as well as a lot of views for you at the detriment of your national image. Because at the end of the day, when you push such narrative, it will have certain sequelae, and that is the honest truth about it. Either way, your intentions are made known. If Burna Boy is actually a problem for you, if you people are crying because Burna Boy is being featured in the World Cup official song 2026 with Shakira, well, brace yourself, because if Burna Boy is your problem, sorry to disappoint you. Because Rema had already released an official anthem for 2026 World Cup with Lisa and Anita, and the song is titled Goals. Now, let me also shock you, as at yesterday, a trend started evolving. Currently, the world had chosen Nigerian jersey as the top 5 global jersey trend. What the world is saying is that Nigerian 2018 jersey is one of the best jerseys the world had ever known. Suck it up, people. You don't have any choice. No, the more you try to beat us, the more the world know about us. Before we continue, I would love to bring to our notice what is currently going on in South Africa as we fight the backlash.
We wanna go! 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 No more South Africa! No more South Africa! No more South Africa! We wanna go! We wanna go! No more South Africa! No more South Africa! We wanna go! We wanna go! We want to die here, die! We don't need to anything, we want to die here! Leave that fucking South. What the fuck do you have?
But our request is that we don't want to negotiate anything with the government of South Africa because it has been enough. When people are being killed, government always try to reduce the killings of refugees and call it to a small criminal activity or element. While it's 100 and some, just hundreds of people that kept on being killed. So we don't know what to do. That's why we came here, and we believe whether they like it or not, we are going to leave South Africa because we no longer want to stay in South Africa because we're not feeling safe. And second, we are being threatened by the people of this building here. I don't know whether they are the owners or whatever, that they are going to use force to remove us. We told them one thing, that we already died. Yes, we are living here, we are a dead living body, that we are here.
The world should really look into South Africa because this is becoming a mess. Now let me tell us something. It is not even easy to leave South Africa. Left for these foreigners, they would have packed their bags and left. But the government of South Africa via immigration won't let them leave, claiming that they do not have the proper documents to visit the nation. You claimed undocumented South Africans are unwanted and that they must leave South Africa, right? You beat them up and steal their properties, yet you still prevent them from trying to leave. Why? So that your people will keep looting from them and using them as scapegoats when your government mismanage your funds via corruption. So instead of the citizens demanding for accountability, you will direct their angry mindset to foreigners. Do you think that it was even easy for the 300 Ghanaians to be evacuated? The government of Ghana passed through a hurdle, but due to the diplomatic relation between the two sovereign nations, as both governments are involved and the world is watching, they had no choice but to allow the Ghanaians to leave. If the government wasn't involved, they would not allow them. If the citizens on their own decide to willingly exit, they may not be allowed. Oh, South Africans. But hold on, despite what South Africans are doing, Ghanaians are more wicked than the South Africans. The first xenophobic nation in Africa were Ghanaians. For the record, 1969 wasn't the beginning of their xenophobia. It was actually the punch that drew the attention of the world in those days. Before 1969, many foreigners were beaten, molested, and looted from in Ghana. I'm going to play a video documentary I made about the expulsion of aliens in 1969 and what led to it. I posted this video 3 years ago, but due to my subscriber base then, the video didn't reach a wider audience. I want you to watch this video very well and make sure to share it. Share this video, especially to Ghanaians, and tag them. Please take your time to watch this video. Do not skip any part of this video. This will be like a formation for a lot of us when we want to talk about what happened in 1969.
Ghana's 1969 issue was actually the last straw. However, something began in 1957. Now let's fast forward to 1920s. Nigerians who went to the Gold Coast were warmly welcomed by their Ghanaian brothers. Now when these people went back to their different regions, do not forget that it wasn't only Nigerians that came. And so, Nigerians started migrating to those parts. Remember that the colonial masters actually used indirect rule system. And so they allowed minor political affiliations and political parties so that they will be able to rule through those people. So Nigerians joined other blacks in Ghana with Ghanaians to push for Pan-Africanism. These Nigerians that migrated from Nigeria, especially the Yorubas, due to the close proximity of the country. Yorubas constituted 80% of the Nigerian immigrants. Nigerians in Ghana contributed to the spread of Islam and Christianity. Remember, I said contributed, meaning that they helped spread Christianity, and the wealthy Yoruba merchants who were Muslims also helped the Muslims in Ghana to spread Islam. In 1920, the Nigerian traders brought Baptist Church from Nigeria to Gold Coast. And the first Baptist church in Ghana started in Kumasi in 1927. An Islamic society called Nuruddin was also established by Nigerians in Ghana. Nigerian migrants immensely contributed to the economic development and the transformation of the rural and the urban areas in Ghana. Nigerians worked in the cocoa farms in Ghana and helped in the mining of gold as laborers. The whites were in charge of the cocoa, where they do loot the produce and give the laborers stipend. Some of the Ghanaian chiefs were aware and they were accomplices, hence they turned a blind eye. Laborers or farmers in the cocoa farms weren't the only things Nigerians were doing. Some were petty traders, some were doing household work, some entered the civil service sector, some were in the household sector, some were in the construction companies, and a lot of things were offered to them and they did them, both from menial jobs to civil service jobs. One of the clashes was in the cocoa crisis, when the colonial masters instigated against Nigerians and other foreigners as they considered them threats to their mission. Now, what happened? At that time, the colonial masters were actually looting a lot of cocoa, and there were also traditional chiefs that aided them. In turn, these traditional chiefs also were given part of the looted cocoa. And the laborers, who are Nigerians and other African nationals, we are not happy about it. When they demanded for their rights upon the stipend that is being paid to them, they were met with series of backlash. And in the end, it was seen that they, the Nigerians and other African nationals, were insubordinate and again proven stubborn. In 1935, the traditional rulers in a meeting in Ghana urged the colonial masters to ensure that troublemakers, by troublemakers they meant the Nigerians and other African nationals, were kept out of Achim Abuakwa, which is in the eastern region of Ghana. All migrants from Nigeria and other African countries should be made amenable to the customary laws of the land in which they reside. Any act of insubordination on the parts of the strangers will attract deportation. In Ghana then, cocoa demand was very high, and Ghana was seen as a go-to place to purchase cocoa. Many Nigerians were in Ghana as at the 1930s. In fact, Nigerians in Ghana as at that time were more than 50,000. Nigerians were very successful in Ghana, ranging from their petty trade business through their house. All of them struggled to make ends meet, and they were successful. Later on, they started buying shops, and they owned 1/3 of shops in Tamale. They also bought lands and constructed shops. Nigerian men and women were so hardworking that they controlled businesses in Kumasi Central Markets, and again their population grew in Ghana. This led to competition that started between Nigerians and the indigenes or the locals in Ghana, who felt intimidated and displaced in their nation. Most of them felt dominated by foreigners. Also, many Ghanaian women were attracted to Nigerian men due to their hustling spirits and got married to them. Some complained that Nigerians will not work for you for a long time. All they wanted is to raise a capital to start a business. And when they do so, before you know it, they will be prosperous. Some labeled Nigerians as being aggressive. Some labeled them as being arrogant and corny. Some labeled them as stingy. And they also say that Nigerians only like to help only one another, and they do not extend helping hands to them as Ghanaians. Some also complained that Nigerians only love to mingle amongst themselves and that they did not trust Ghanaians at all. Later on, Nigerians were accused of being flamboyant, extravagant, and always flaunting their wealth, as Nigerians started buying lands and building houses in Ghana in 1950s. So Ghanaians became curious of how Nigerians can be so successful within few years of starting businesses with little or no cash. Some Nigerians financed politicians, and some belonged to the power class in Ghana. Some group of Ghanaians complained that Nigerians are oppressing them in business. As Nigerians allowed people to bargain in business, Nigerians selling with smaller gain attracted more indigenous customers who are Ghanaians than the local traders. In 1953, Ghanaian indigenes formed a national union, and they protested and sought for the protection of Ghana's own businesses, of which they are opposing and pushing for the closure of foreign businesses. At that point, Nigerians in Ghana were stopped from petty trading via an order. Politics played a major role in this, as they persuaded governments to deport all aliens, and that was when they established Aliens Acts. Kwame Nkrumah insisted that the deportation of aliens was restricted only to his political opponents, and he strongly rejected the move or agitation for expulsion of aliens by Ghanaians. He exerted his points from the perspective of Pan-Africanism and insisted that no nation is an island and nations need each other for economic growth and stability. The Deportation Act of 1957 was solely meant to be used to dislodge MAP members, of whom greater numbers were seen as Nigerians. Kwame Nkrumah deported Yoruba and Hausa heavy merchants back to Nigeria because they opposed him. In 1966, there was a coup, and Dr. Busia NLM toppled the Kwame Nkrumah's government. Despite the political issues going on in Ghana and some agitation and political deportation, Ghana was still seen as a neutral ground to settle matters. Do you remember that there was a coup in Nigeria in 1966 that brought Major General Yakubu Gowon into power? So he felt the need for settlement in order to save Nigeria, because at that time there was already an oil discovery at Oloibiri. However, pipeline was still being laid. The eastern region sent General Odumegu Ojukwu, and then the other regions in Nigeria sent their generals in Nigeria, and then went to Aburi in Ghana as a neutral ground for settlements. However, the interpretation of the verdict, which should be the solution, was misinterpreted by all the parties, which tried to interpret what they understood differently to suit them. Then 30th May 1967, Ojukwu declared the secession of the three states of the eastern region under the name of the Republic of Biafra, which the federal government interpreted as an act of rebellion. This led to fights, and within 3 weeks, it reached a point of full-blown civil war. 29th of August 1969, there was an election, and Dr. Busia Kofi became the Prime Minister of Ghana. He came into power, and immediately everything changed. The tolerance dropped. Unexpectedly, he immediately antagonized the Nigerian and the foreign supporters of African descent. For every slightest argument or stubbornness or argument with a local, foreigners were thrown into prison. They were called criminals who came to Ghana with nothing, yet stole Ghana's resources, customers, women, and business. The prison of Ghana was filled with Nigerians and very few other African nationals whom were thrown into prison because of slightest resistance or arguments. Some Ghanaians expressed their displeasure towards the antagonism of Nigerians. This led to a widespread rumor that every alien in Ghana will go to jail for not voting for Dr. Busia. There was a phrase that was used, Wobiko, meaning you will leave, you will go. This brought about about agitation from political leaders in other countries, and open molestations of Nigerians and other foreign nationals began. Some Nigerians were able to run back home. The information spread mostly in the north and southwestern Nigerians. Nigerian government, through the Secretary of External Affairs, Dr. Aripo, warned Ghana to stop molesting Nigerians. However, it did not stop. Actually, it got worse and nothing was done. Nigerians were described as undesirable elements, undesirable aliens, criminals who came to steal Ghana's natural resources. Nigerians were openly made to know that if they wish to still stay in Ghana, that their children must stop schooling, that they should resign from their government job, although majority had already been sacked, and that they should stop doing businesses like trading. They should only work as laborers, house or domestic workers, and farmers, just like other foreign nationals from other African countries. The molestation, the name calling, what we call the undesirable elements, alien, criminals, was the order of the day. Ghanaians started harassing, breaking and looting Nigerian shops, looting their properties in their very presence. It became unbearable, and the animosity increased when Ghanaians learned of the civil war that had broken out in Nigeria. Nigeria wasn't a place to be at that moment, and so the aliens in Ghana who are Nigerians had no choice but to endure. Ghanaians openly fought each other in the presence of Nigerians, or who will take possessions of their looted properties. One of the elderly victims narrated that what they experienced in Ghana should never be experienced even by their enemy. The one set of people who adored and liked them became so evil and haunted them like animals in Ghana. On the 18th of November 1969, a new immigration law was announced by the government of Dr. Kofi Busia. All aliens were required to have their permits. He stated that it has come to the notice of the government that several aliens, both Africans and non-Africans in Ghana, do not possess the requisite resident permit in conformity with the laws of Ghana. There are others too who are engaging in business of all kinds, contrary to the term of their visiting permits. The government has accordingly directed that all aliens in the first category, that is, those without resident permit, should leave Ghana within 14 days. That is, not later than December 2nd, 1969. Those in the second category should obey strictly the terms of their entry permits, and if these have expired, they should leave Ghana immediately. The Ministry of Interior has been directed to comb the country thoroughly for defaulting aliens, and aliens arrested for contravening these orders will be dealt with according to the law. This announcement was sudden, and many Nigerians in Ghana went to get their permits. However, they were denied. The encombing of the country and mass deportation started. Those who went to get their permits were denied, but only white foreigners or non-Africans were allowed to get permits. Some Nigerians were forced to sell their buildings and all their properties for a peanut amount that can't even buy food for them for 1 week. Since their money was looted, many of them were left stranded. Nigerian Association in Ghana wrote a petition to the government of Ghana to extend the date of the exit in order for them to get their salary, since salary will be paid first week of the next month. Also to enable them plan for their family on how they will relocate. But Ghana government refused. Government issued an executive order for Nigerians not to go with their savings in Ghana. The Bank of Ghana, which has many savings of Nigerians, rejected the plea of Nigerians, and the very wealthy amongst them were given peanuts, enough for them to just travel back to Nigeria, and the rest were given nothing. Those that have money at home, it was either stolen or they were molested and it was taken from them. Many Nigerians were bundled and deported with nothing on their way to the church or market. Several banks denied them access to withdraw their money. The population of many aliens exiting the country was huge as they were being forced by the military. These This led to stampede. An order was released that no Ghanaian should buy any house owned by a Nigerian, even if it is for a ridiculously low amount of money. There were Nigerians who, in their bitterness and frustration, decided to set their buildings ablaze. Nigerians left with nothing except few clothes.
When we say that Ghanaians are wicked, you will see it here. What happened and currently happening in South Africa happened in Ghana in a time that many nations were filled with brotherly love. Ghanaians dealt with Nigerians when they were most vulnerable because they knew about the civil war, took everything Nigerians had and sent Nigerians out of Ghana to go and face death in Nigeria. So many Nigerians died on the way. Oh, they are Ghanaians. Maybe Kama is trying to send a message to Ghanaians, because if you ask me, have you forgotten, Ghanaians, that you destroyed the office of the Nigerian High Commissioner in Ghana? Have you forgotten about that? The world is watching.
Timbala,